if every employee in your current company, and I don't care if you have 5 employees, 20 employees, or 100 employees, if every employee in your company gives you 1 referral in a year, you just doubled the size of your company year over year over year.
You're listening to Titans of the Trades. I'm your host, Ryan Englin, author of Hire Better People Faster and creator of the CoreFit Hiring System, a proven process to help growing companies attract and retain only the best. I'm on a mission to revolutionize the perception of the trades and elevate it to new heights. After growing up in a blue-collar family, my passion for making the trades cool again runs deep. If you're a titan in the industry and want to be on my show, stick around until the end and I'll reveal how you can be my next guest. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Titans of the Trades. I am your host, Ryan Englin, and I just got done doing another amazing episode with Michael and David. And if you don't know who they are and you missed last week's episode, make sure you go back and check it out, because these guys are incredible. They are such a wealth of knowledge. They are beautiful human beings, had such an amazing conversation that I actually brought them back to a second show because they just had so much good stuff and I could not help but to share it with you. So get ready to take a ton of notes. This is an episode you're going to go back and listen to multiple times, share it with your team. So much value in such a short little bit of time. I want to welcome from Trio Heating and Air, Michael and David Katz. Michael and David, welcome back to the show.
How's it going, Ryan?
Good morning.
Oh, I'm fantastic. I've been looking forward to this for a little while. Now, for our listeners, they just heard you last week, and this is part 2, and arguably the most important part, because today we are talking about people. We talked about pricing, we talked about marketing, we talked about building and growing and learning from others and working with people who have been to the mountaintop. We talked about that last time. But what we didn't get to talk about is people. And as I shared with you earlier, most contractors that I know right now, they either can't find people, or if they find them, they can't keep them. And if they can keep them, they don't want them. So like they're screwed all the way around. But you guys going in a couple of years to 10 million, you guys figured something out. I want to dig into that today. How's that sound?
Yeah,
let's do it. Let's make some money, and let's break some myths, and let's give some actionable items someone can take and recruit a top A performer by next week. Let's do it.
Well, let's start there. Use the word I was going to use. Break down some of these myths for me. Everybody believes it's too hard to find good people right now. You guys tell me what's going on.
I think let's first of all start with what's a top performer, right? Their characteristics and the things that will not work for them in your business, meaning, are you even ready for a top performer? Let's talk about that, right? Because it doesn't start with, I can't find these people, I can't this and this and that. You build it and they would come, literally. So let's just say, if I'm bringing a top performer into my office, which is the most basic thing, and my office looks like not really attractive, because you come into the Trio office and you get like blasted with energy. You get blasted as soon as you walk through the door. There's trees on the wall, the tree planting initiative that we do. There's a neon sign with Trio. There's a really nice lobby. There's a conference room. There's data cube on the screen showing everyone's numbers. There's music. People are walking in and out with Starbucks. Like you see the move, you see the energy. Everything is just happening. And you walk through every office space and people are happy. So first of all, is your culture good? Does your office look really good? If I walk into your bathroom, and I'm not going to use the word, but if it looks like it, I don't, how does that project success? How does that project? If I'm a top performer, everything about me is particular. Now we're getting into characteristics of top performers. So if I'm an A player.
Hold on a second. Yeah. So if you want the best playing on your team, you have to be a team of the best.
Yes, and it starts with some basic things, right? Because if first of all, how do you look? That's what we're really talking about. How do you look? Are your vans wrapped, or do you have just a bunch of different services listed on your window? Does it look like crap? So, do you look good? Are you presentable? Do you have a good reputation online? Because if I'm a top performer and you're trying to recruit me for a company that has 2,000 reviews, I'm not jumping ship for 70 reviews, 4.5 stars.
Yeah.
Even if that's good, right? 70 reviews, 4.5 stars. No, not good. Great.
Yeah.
Well, not enough for top performers. So, do you look good? As far as your office, does it look good? In addition to that, do you have benefits? Do you have 401k matching? Do you have a nice car that you give them? Like, how does the whole operation look like? In addition to that, we're talking about processes and systems a lot in different podcasts and different things that we do training.
Yeah.
Can your company handle a top performer? Because I can tell you, when we were starting out, we were able to recruit one of these. This guy was on a different level, like a high caliber salesperson, and he came in and he almost shut down our company because he was selling so much we couldn't keep up. And he even talked to us and came in and said, yeah, I kind of figured it's going to happen. Typically, any company I go to, I bring so much volume, I'm 50% of the revenue. It doesn't matter what size they are. Some people are $10 million salespeople. So if your company is at 5 million, you want to recruit a $10 million salesperson, that's not happening. Like, it's just not happening. You're not going to be able to, you know what I mean? Like, unless you have the money to back it up, you have the people on your phone just waiting to be called. Like, you're just not doing that. So can you handle the volume? Do you look really good? Is it attractive? And those are really the basic things that a lot of people are missing out. Once you have those nailed down, from there, it's a question of how do you find them? And as far as how do you find them, it's not that hard in our industry. It's one of these industries that it's a very small world. So you know who the top performers are in your area. And if you don't, you need to start getting out there. What I mean is um, going on LinkedIn, going on Instagram, following different companies, going to events. If there's a trade show and you guys can go and set up a booth over there, or just walk in there when you figure out there is a trade show, take a look at your competitors, because your competitors have them. They have those people that you want in different aspects of the business, but they have them. So you got to be able to try to get in touch with people, be aware, listen to what's happening. At some point, you're going to hear there's a top performer. From there, it's hunting season. That's where you get into the fun stuff. How do I get to this person? And we can talk about that, but I don't want to dive too deep into it for this part.
I've got so many questions right now because I'm sitting here thinking like our listeners, and this is my world. I see this all the time, and there's so many bad beliefs about people right now. Nobody wants to work. Everybody's lazy. The good ones all have jobs somewhere else. They're not looking. But everything you said goes right in line with what we talk about is if you want to attract the best, you have to be attractive to the best. Whether that's your great office, your reps, your fulfillment team that can serve that top performing salesperson. Like, yeah. I don't know if you guys know this, but one of the top 10 reasons the Small Business Administration says that small businesses go under is too much work. It's one of the top 10 reasons they go out of business because they can't handle it all. And their reputation just plummets.
That's insane.
Their ability to bring more work in. And so you've got to have the fulfillment team. You've got to have the office. You've got to have the bathroom that looks decent, because if you want to attract the best, they are only attracted to the best.
And I guess that one thing that we need to point out is, let's say we're looking in an area where, somebody that's listening to this is just starting out and they only have like 30 reviews or 50 reviews. And they're like, okay, how do I compete with this company that has 1,000 5-star reviews? I would say start with just being an option. Start being an option in your market. What does that mean? People are not even going to consider you because of the basic things that Mike was just talking about, right? So let's say if I'm a top performer right now and I'm considering moving to a different company, as a top performer, as a top technician, as a top installer, as a top salesperson, I'm going to try to understand, what am I up against? That's really what I'm trying to understand. What are my obstacles, right? What is the potential? What is the obstacle? What's the environment that I'm going to be working in? And so for me as a salesperson, and I was that number one sales guy that, kind of was going through a hard time at that company that I was working on, whatever the reason was, and I was looking for my next option. So I knew that one of the things that I don't want to deal with, I don't care how many reviews they have, but don't want to sit in front of a customer and need to deal with the issues of explaining why we have a 3.5-star rating, right? So I just wanted to go to a company where that's not an issue. Yeah, I don't mind saying we're a starting company, and the benefit that you're going to get from this is that we care, and it's a family business. And when you call us, you're going to talk to me directly, and we care about you so much, and we don't have a million customers we need to spend our attention to. This is some of those things. Second is I want to be proud of the place that I'm working at, and those are the small things. This is the office. This is the vehicle. This is the small things that are coming up. Last time we talked about the price book and raising your price. I understand. This is what allows people to also pay well, because I want to know as a top performer that I'm getting paid top dollar, and I'll produce enough for that company to justify it. But you need to be able to pay me that to motivate me to come to your business, and then I'll produce for you, and I'll make 3 times whatever extra it is that you're paying me, because that's the idea. An A player is going to worth 3 B players. It's worth it.
Yeah.
And aside from this, we need to implement some things. So Mike was talking about trying to go after those people. If you're going after an executive, management position, salespeople, service technicians, a lot of those guys, you are going to find them, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Facebook, on all of those things. You don't start immediately by reaching out and saying, hey, I want to send you an offer. You want to try to, build a relationship. It took me 3 years of nurturing a relationship with the best service technician in our area. It took me 3 years to get him. And I had a calendar reminder that every single month I would give him an update on what's going on with the business. And guess what? I got 0 responses.
Yep.
He wouldn't even acknowledge receiving my emails. He wouldn't even get back to me and say, "Oh, that's awesome, man. Congrats." I was like, I just told, "Hey, just wanted to let you know, last month we rolled out our 401k plan. Hey, just wanted to let you know, we moved to a new office. It's 5,000 square feet, and we have such and such things happening right now." I would literally send him every month an update. We won that award. We got this, we got that. Just kind of showing him what happens in the company, and keep sending the message to him that things are going amazing here. And that
But David, why do you do that? Because you gotta stay top of mind for the moment, that moment that, and you're gonna see there's momentum in it. If you keep following up with them every month, at some point within a period of, it could be that it takes you a month, could be that it takes you 3 years, or even 10 years, whatever the case may be. There's that one day that someone did something wrong in the business they're working at, or one day that they're frustrated, or one day when they're low on calls, or whatever the case may be, that's your moment. That's your
the day
opportunity.
he decides he's going to find another job. And when David's email is right there, he's like, man, this guy, David, 3 years he's been on me. You know what? I love that you guys are sharing this story. I tell people all the time in service, we have lists and we nurture our customers and we stay in front of them because we don't know when their equipment's going to break down, or when they're going to decide they want a mini split added, or when they want to do some indoor air quality. We have no idea. So we stay in front of them all the time. Like, we know
Top of
this
mind.
stuff to be true because we do it on the customer side, but
Yeah.
so few people do it on the employee side. I
But
commend you guys for that. That is awesome.
You know why though, Ryan? This is part of, it kind of goes into the system that you work with. As a business owner, you probably have sticky notes, stuff written down on books, reminders, calendars. Like, you have a million different things that you're focusing on. If you go and tell a business owner right now, hey, we also got to do content, or hey, we also got to recruit. You also have to, there's so much for a business owner to take on and study and learn as you go if you want to grow, that's where they bow out of the race. They're like, I'm not good at this, so I'm not going to do it. I'm already working on a million different things. How can I have the time to fit it in? What you have to have is a very simple system. For example, a reminder on your phone or in any app, and the reminder is going to be, or a block on your calendar, that you're taking 15 minutes. I'll give you an example of what I do to recruit some of the top performers, and I can give you a really good example. First of all, and afterwards, I want to talk about bonuses, sign-on bonuses, different things like that, like things that will get people moving, and your process to onboarding, which is also important too. So for the most part, I have a reminder, and I just go on LinkedIn. I put in the names of the companies that I'm competing with, right? The top ones. I check all the employees in those companies. I add them on LinkedIn. And every month when I go in, I add them and I send a message. Hey, just wanted to introduce myself. I'm the owner of this and that business. Here's what we're doing. Would love to invite you for a shop tour. This is another thing when you're talking to top performers. We all know what's happening. We all know you're trying to recruit me right now. So get to it. Don't waste your time. Don't sugarcoat anything. And you got to remember, no one feels comfortable going to lunch or dinner with a stranger. So what you really want to establish first is a communication with them, maybe a phone number, and telling them, I'd love to show you what we're doing here. This is a small industry. It'll be interesting for you to kind of take a look at it. The concerns that they might have is I'm with a company vehicle. I don't want them to check my GPS and see it. Or maybe I don't necessarily have the time. I'm working. You're going to have to put yourself in those shoes because at some point you were an employee. All of us were. You got to put yourself in those shoes and say, if someone is reaching out to me right now, what are some of the obstacles that I have? I don't feel comfortable. I'm working. I don't have time. I don't want anyone to check my GPS. They're thinking about all these different things. So you know what I tell them? Just so you know, we're here from 6 a.m. until 8 p.m. 7 days a week. So that's out of the way. Schedule. I always tell them that. I can meet with you anytime. Shop tour itself, I even tell them, this is not official. I don't like official. This is like a hi, nice to meet you kind of thing, right? It just come see our shop. So I remove the official part out of it. I don't invite them to lunch or dinner because that's too much. People right now are not as open to these things as we used to be. It's a different reality. It's a different world. People don't like to jump on a phone call. Like, hey, can you give me a phone call? Hey, no, I can't. I don't want to jump on a call with you. It's like, how? I don't know you. So text them, keep the communication, invite them for a shop tour, tell them what's going on, keep doing it every month. And every time there's a celebration or something, do it. You don't want to be cheesy. You don't want to be, so keep all that. Now, when you actually get the top performers, one thing that I think is really important to just get into and talk about is your onboarding process. If I'm a top performer, most likely I've been working for the same company for a while and my numbers are the best and I've established myself as the top dog. That means that I just point a finger at someone and they're fired. That's the level of top performers. Top performers has the business, by the, they grab them by the cojones. So we need to remember these people have a lot of power with these companies. Now, if you're bringing them in and you're talking to them about the recruiting and hiring, one thing that you got to remember, they're used to making a lot of money. And that means they have a lot of bills. We're talking a little bit about characteristics of top performers. These people make a lot of money. If you're in the HVAC industry and you're a top salesperson, you're making way over $10,000, $20,000 a month. That's a lot of money. If you're really like killing it, you could be making even 30, 40, 50. So if we're talking about that amount every month, guess what happens to your lifestyle? It goes up, right? So typical characteristic of salespeople, they live way beyond their means. A lot of times, depending on the person, there's some interesting ones over there, but they get the sports cars and they have maybe 5 or 7 cars in the driveway and they fly all over the place and they buy expensive jewelry. And then suddenly the money runs out and they're like, oh shit. And then they go back and they sell more. That's their characteristic. So when you sit with them in the room, you got to be able to explain to them, how fast and soon am I making money? Because if you're telling me I'm sitting here doing ride along and in the office doing training and there's a full week that I'm off the schedule, here is enough for me to know I'm not joining with you. So what I tell them is, just so you know, our onboardings are super easy. You just sign, you fill out the paperwork at home. You don't even have to come to the office. You sit down with HR for an hour. I show you the price book. You're good to go. You're rocking and rolling. So they're thinking, okay, that's easy. That's fair enough. I can figure that out. Now, the next thing I tell them is, by the way, our installs are same day or next day. And we get paid weekly over here. What does that tell the person? Jobs are going in quick. There's quality in the work because of the reviews and everything. I trust these guys. I look at their system in office. There's proof in the pudding. I feel comfortable with this. And I'm going to get paid quickly. Those are some of the things that a lot of people don't understand. Sometimes I have top performers here in an interview, and they have an offer on the table from another shop that's a really big competitor of mine. Maybe they're even better at me in some things and I'm aware of it, right? They're bigger or whatever it is. And that one thing that I told them, same day install, next day install, or fast onboarding, or whatever it is, that gets them. So you have to really analyze this and understand what are the characteristics, what are all the obstacles, and start removing them.
Yeah. And what I'm hearing you say, you guys are doing this so naturally. Like you guys probably don't even think or realize that you're doing this, but you are walking in their shoes for a minute and you're saying, what's it like to be them?
Mhm.
And how do we make it so this process is easier, better, more exciting for them? Because you could
Right.
have said, you know what, when we onboard people really quickly and we do all of this, like that kind of hurts us. And the team's like, who's this new person and everything else? But you're just thinking about that new employee. How do you make this very stressful, very uncertain, very I've been duped and lied to before process, right? Where they were sold a bill of goods and then showed up and they're like, these guys have no open tickets. How am I going to make any money? They've all been through it. You remove all of those barriers and you say, we're going to make this as easy as possible for you. And I love that you're thinking not only what do they see, but what are they feeling? Because those things you're talking about, getting them paid quickly, making sure they're doing next day installs, that gets them excited. That gets them pumped.
Mhm.
That makes them think these guys got their act together. And I can tell you a lot of contractors can't say that. But here's my
Yeah.
question for you, because I know there's a lot of people listening right now. And I love these principles because you don't have to be an HVAC. You probably don't even have to be a service contractor. If you do sales of any kind, what you just shared is gold.
Yeah.
But here's my question. I know a lot of contractors that are out there right now saying, hey, I'm not able to answer my phones fast enough. Or I can't put any more tickets up on the board because I don't have enough techs. Like I'm shorthanded. I don't have 3 years to wait. I don't have time to go wine and dine or give shop tours and connect with a guy every month. Like I need to hire somebody now. How do you solve that problem? I'm sure you guys have been there at some point, right?
Yeah. There are a few different ways to go about it, right? And especially, I mean, it can be in any position, but for example, in a department like maybe your install department, the characteristic of people within the install department are not the same as in your leadership team, management, or salespeople. So you might not find them on LinkedIn. You might only find them on Instagram, or it might be a little bit more difficult to find those people. And so every company has to have something that they implemented within the operation that works without them needing to push for recruiting. They can put the entire organization recruiting for the organization. And here's what we did. We just put a program in place where every position in the company can be recruited from within the company, and there is going to be a bonus for the referring employee. To give you an example, if somebody from our install department would reach out to their cousin, their friend, or somebody that they worked with in the past, and they bring them in, all they got to do is just bring them in for an interview. It's not their job to run the interview process good enough. It's not their job to, onboard them well and pay them well and take care of them and benefits. Not their job.
David, thank you for saying that. I want you to say that again. For everybody thinks that I'm only going to pay a referral bonus if the guy's here 90 days. Because that's not what you said.
Right. Because
Say that again.
so your referring employee, they probably have been, just like we said about the person who is coming on board, and they have all these concerns. Who am I going to be working with? Am I going to like them? Am I going to get enough leads? Am I going to, like, all of these concerns that they have in their mind, right? It's a big job. Like, it's a big jump to change a job. And
Yeah.
so the same thing for the referring employee. People have heard before you're going to get X, Y, and Z bonus or whatever it is, and they didn't get it. A lot of people leave companies because of payment issues, because they didn't get paid what they were supposed to get paid, or what they thought they are supposed to get paid, because communication was not clear enough, whatever the reason was. And so you got to make sure that the person from within your organization that is going to refer people to you is always going to win, so that they don't have a doubt that even if a person comes in and they only worked 1 day and then you fire them or they decided to leave, you are still paying something to that person that gave you the referral. So here is what we did. Obviously, if you're listening to this right now, you're saying, well, why would I risk so much money for 1 day? Everybody's going to abuse the system, right? What if my employees are starting to bring me 10 interviews and, they have a side hustle where they make all this money and people leave after 1 day? So you got to give yourself some protection. So the way that we do it is, for example, if somebody from our install department is going to bring a referral and we decided to move forward and hire that person, right? It's our job, of course, to qualify them and make sure we're hiring the right person and say yes or no. So that's number one. But once we decided to hire them, the first day that employee is starting, the person who referred them is going to get $250. The first day. That means that there is one sales guy that's just started working here this week. It's a guy that I've been chasing for about a year and a half now from one of the biggest companies around here. And he gave me a referral without even working here, because he said, you guys seem really awesome. And there is one guy that just left this company because of whatever reason. He's looking for a job. I'm going to refer him to you. The guy came in for an interview. He didn't even start working with us. And I still gave that salesperson $250 just to send somebody here for an interview. And
Nice.
here's what happens. He came to an interview and he said, you know what? Because you sent me that payment a year and a half ago, I decided that you guys are probably so awesome and you don't play games with money. And I just decided to give it a chance. And he came for an interview and we hired him. I was like, oh my God, like this is it. Like
Yeah.
that's the approach that we need to have. We shouldn't be concerned about every dollar. After 1 week, the referring employee gets another $250.
1 week.
After 1 week. So after 1 day, they get $250. After 1 week, they get another $250. After a month, they get $500. After 3 months, they get an additional $1,000. After 6 months, they get an additional $1,500. So what you did here, you gave yourself that $3,000 referral bonus. But number one, your employee knows that, the person who referred, they know that they kind of have their own protection, right? And they're not in charge of making sure this employee is happy in your company. So you win, they win. In a 6-month period, you got your money's worth. You know what I mean? And it just builds this really great environment of collaboration, of nobody thinks that anybody's screwing them over. It makes sense. And you can change it per position, right? You might not want to pay $3,000 for somebody that it's easier to hire. But guess what? If every employee in your current company, and I don't care if you have 5 employees, 20 employees, or 100 employees, if every employee in your company gives you one referral in a year, listen to what I'm saying. Just one referral for every employee in a year, you just doubled the size of your company year over year over year. Is it worth it? Is it worth it?
I'm with you. Employee referrals are the best source of quality candidates. They stick around longer because they know somebody already. They've got a friend there. You have to almost don't have to interview them because you can look at the person that referred them and go, well, if they like them, then maybe I like them too. And you spend so much less time onboarding because usually there's someone's like, hey, let me show you around. Right? It makes things so much easier. I don't know why people don't do it more.
Brian, the thing is, the idea for us became from, it kind of started now, just so you know, our finance director hates it. Our HR person hates it. And even more than that, a lot of times I'm sitting with them and they're arguing with me, trying to prove why that system is stupid and why that system is wrong. You, as a business owner, sometimes you have to close your ears and do what you know is right for the business.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if the business crashes, they're not going to be the person, trying to save it. So it's just you. So it kind of goes both ways. But really the idea became from every time we were trying to recruit, we were spending a lot of money on advertisement. We were spending a lot of times doing interviews on video calls. We were spending a lot of times doing interviews in the office where people don't show up. And it was a hit or miss and a lot of people were leaving. So when I took a look at how much money it's actually costing me in the revolving door, the turnover, the gamble, them not having experience, like they said, because they lie in an interview, no one vouched for them, me spending a lot of times on interviews and money, I just really understood I could pay up to $5,000 and I'm still at the same place. But the difference is it's also not a gamble. And I know for sure what's happening. I know for sure this person
you already care for and support.
Right. So that's another thing too. Sometimes these people are going to come to you and they're going to say two things. Either they're going to tell you straight up, I haven't been here long enough, or maybe there's some things I'm not happy with that I know they won't be happy with either. So that's something you got to fix, right? Or another thing is they might tell you, I have some people, but you don't want them. So if you're, yeah, we hear that one, right? So it's always a question of like, why would I not want them? What's wrong with them? What's this? Definitely listen to your guys, but sometimes you got to remember, people don't want people that maybe are better than them. That could be another thing, right? They don't want someone that could potentially take their job or be a better performer. But again, the whole bonus structure really helps out. And I want to, I'm one of the main people doing recruiting in the business. One of the things that I found, I know David mentioned to, what were we saying, to bring them for an interview. I actually do something a little bit different. I ask them for a phone number. I don't want them to bring them for an interview because I know it's a lot of work. And I don't want them, because another thing is, your people, when they refer someone to you, if the person that they referred suddenly doesn't show up or does something really wrong, they don't want it to reflect that on them.
Absolutely.
So what I always tell them is, give me the phone number. I'll do the work. I don't need you to talk to them. This is not a reflection on you. This is just a really nice bonus. And the bonus is structured for day 1, week 1, month 3, month 6.
Nice.
That's the 5 times that you're going to get paid. And it doesn't matter if you work for the company or if you don't work for the company. I have a lot of people that I pay bonuses for that do not work for my company. Why? Because I'm focused on growth. I want to grow. So I need to bring more of these people.
Guys,
So
your supplier can recruit for you. The guy that's selling.
You guys are amazing, beautiful human beings. I love your philosophy with this. I agree. Your supplier, people tell me all the time, "Oh, I can't go to the supply house. They're not going to recruit for me." I'm like, do you know how many techs walk in and go, "I hate my boss right now." Like, it's so
or
they're so scared to do it.
Or build your reputation. When your supplier comes in, or when someone comes in for a delivery, give them 5 hats. Within 2 months of doing something like this, you're gonna have all of your suppliers with trio hats in their shop. We have one of our companies that we work with sometimes down in Fresno. A lot of their videos, one of the technicians is wearing a trio hat. Can you imagine like how there's so much that could be done. You just gotta like
branding, and there, you see this.
Well, and that's the thing you guys started with. You've got to have what we call the employer brand. You got to look good. You got to smell good. You got to be high energy. Like, people get attracted to a really strong, intentional employer brand like you guys have. And then when you get really good at making that experience of the interview and the onboarding and the leaving your other job, when you make that easier, all of a sudden people are like, I want easier, and I want exciting, and I want high energy, and I want the good looks, and I want that reputation. But let me ask you this as we get ready to wrap up here. So we've done all this work. We got A players coming to us. We know how to onboard these A players. How do we keep them long term? How do you keep A players from coming to you in 2 years and saying, "Hey, boss, I got another job lined up. They're giving me an extra 50 cents an hour, an extra 3 days of PTO." How do you keep them long term?
So there's 2 things. I'm gonna add 2.5. We're gonna add something there because the other one is up to how you want to run your business. But number 1, well, first of all, let's break it into 2 things. Top performers, you either have to overpay them or have a really good relationship with them. Those are the 2 things. It's either or. If you can't afford to overpay them, you're gonna have to have a really good relationship. That means taking them to dinner, really knowing them, inviting them over to your house, really connecting, working with them on a very personal level. Number 2, it's either you just overpay them. That's one of the things that mom and pop shops have the advantage over bigger corporates. Bigger corporates are kind of, they have to report to a lot of different people. So it depends on the company and depends on how top performer. Are we talking about a $4 million salesperson or a 10 million or a 15 million, right? Because even corporate sometimes will have a side contract with one of these guys because they are worth a lot. But you have to have both of these things. The second thing that's really important, recognition. Top performers feed off of that. You gotta keep giving them the recognition all the time. There has to always be something there, and you have to make sure you're not.
Michael, you mean I have to recognize them for doing their job? Is that what you're saying?
No, not recognize them for doing their job, but for example, I'll give you a really good example.
Do it.
For us, we have a monthly meeting. It's called the all hands meeting. We bring everyone in once a month, and we basically go over top performers in every department. Sure. Anytime there's an opportunity, or if there's a training let's talk about, forget the top performers if the person actually had a really good month and they won. Not just based on numbers, but characteristics too. If they held a team member, if they helped someone, or did right by a customer, took their trash out, something like that to recognize them. But another thing you can do with recognition is bring in this top performer to a training that you have for the sales team or the service team, for example, or the install team. Have them run some training. Give them that respect. Have something, to them. You have to give them recognitions because they love it. They feed off of it. Now, I mentioned 2 things, and the half one that I'm talking about, that depends on the structure. But this is a something that works really well. I've had a lot of top performers that I've tried to recruit, and you know what I kept hearing over time? The same thing. Yeah, I just have this really big bonus on my quarterly coming up. It's going to be in like 50 days. So I got to wait for that one to kick in first. And then as soon as the 50 days comes, I'm really about to hit this other one, and it's going to come in 80 days or 70 days. So I don't know. So there's a structure of taking part of the payment, for example, if you have a top performer, and saying, if you hit those revenue targets for the quarter, you're going to be eligible for this bonus, right? And the bonuses are
in a few months.
bonus paid, right? And you always keep building up the pipeline for the next one. The only time you can get them is in slow season when it's a little bit slow. And slow season is the time to recruit. No one has work. People are more open. They need money.
I know. Nobody
So
wants to recruit in slow season, though.
yeah, we make, this is our time. This is when we recruit, and then for summer we're always set. You got to keep your people, and you got to recruit more people. It's an art, but you got to be careful, but still. So you want to make sure to have something that keeps them, something that keeps them coming. There's recognition. They have that value in the business without insulting other team members by saying, this guy that I'm bringing in is better than all of you. We don't say that, right? But we basically say, this person is going to elevate all of us. This person is going to show us some things that we've never seen before. It's going to rub off on us, right? So we give them the recognition, the overpay, working on the relationship with them, value in training, give them some value of the company to kind of teach them some things that you have. There's always value you can give.
Now, let me ask this question. So you've talked a lot about the technicians, the salesperson, the one that can get that long-term commission. How do you do that with a dispatcher? How do you retain
with dispatchers?
Them? Yeah.
I would say with dispatchers in general, I will just say that most offices that I walk into, first of all, super cramped cubicles, right? You walk into the call center and the super cramped cubicles. Our office is big, it's open. Our call center is freaking Disneyland. Like, it's the happiest place on earth, literally. And we keep it that way. No technicians are allowed. No salespeople are allowed. No installers are allowed. No one is allowed in there. We have to make sure that they're happy. We have to make sure they're on calls. If someone is having a little bit of an off day, go work somewhere else. Go work in a different office space, or move that juju away from us. We got to have positive energy all the time. So for call center, I would say we have great incentives. The culture is really well. So when they come in for interview, you can see it. And a lot of times, if you have call center people and your team is like 2 or 3 people, I'm assuming that they know someone. Now, if they know someone that's worked for an HVAC or plumbing company for a while, that'll work great. I will say this, just to kind of sum up for recruiting also.
Yeah.
If I'm recruiting for positions that are finance related, AR, AP, general office, secretary, whatever it is. If I'm hiring for office stuff, I go on LinkedIn, I go on Indeed, I go on Glassdoor, I go on ZipRecruiter. I do that online. Yes, those ones we do recruit from there, because you're not always going to find someone, through referrals. And I don't want to pay a bonus for that, honestly, because those positions, they're dime a dozen. There's a lot of people out there that I can get.
Yeah.
They're easier to fill. But for revenue facing, I like to call it revenue facing, because we're talking call center, install, service, and sales. Those ones you recruit. And as soon as you get a top performer and they start working with you, you got to make sure that you get more people from them. And the cycle keeps going.
Ryan, I'm going to say a couple of things. One thing that I'm going to say is about the call center question, and the other, I want to talk about core matters, about you guys. About the call center, or in every position, as a manager, as a leader, or even if you have managers that are reporting to you, you got to have one-on-ones with your employees to know where they're at. You got to have one-on-ones. Maybe it's once a week, maybe it's once every 2 weeks. And it's not a time to review their performance. It's just a time to let them talk about what's going on in their life. How are things going for them at work? It's going to give them the stage to talk to you about things that they wouldn't just come to your office and knock on your door and talk to you naturally. Every manager or business owner expects that when something is not going right, their employees are going to come and talk to them about it. Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you talk to me until it was too late? That's not how it works. If you understand business, you know the importance of having a one-on-one and a 100-day plan and a vision to work on with your employees. I have a guy that I'm working with him on his 2-year plan to buy his house, and I'm meeting with him every week to see how he's doing. But it's all tied eventually to performance, right? With the call center, I think that every business that I go to, every company that I'm consulting to or go for a shop tour, it is the most neglected department in every company. Attention-wise and financially, these people, this is where everything starts. Everything starts in the call center. Everything starts with the phone call. Do you know how many times I got into a house and I only made the sale because the clients was so excited about the experience they got over the phone that all I needed to do is just make sure I'm matching it? And other times when I got into the house and the customer was already upset with me because of the original experience that they had with the customer. I was like, what am I going up against here? It is so critical. These people in the call center got to have the opportunity to make more money. You got to give them an opportunity to make more money based on their performance. It's going to help you, it's going to help them, and you're going to grow together. And the reason why I'm saying this is because you look at a company like Core Matters, right? I don't think that business owners at up to a certain size, like let's say if you're a 1 million, 2 million, 5 million, even a $10 million shop, sometimes they don't understand the value of working with a company like Core Matters that fixes all of those gaps and holes that they have in the operation that are going to slow them down another year, another 2 years, another 5 years. Because most of us in the industry, we're not educated people. It's not like we came from this giant operation that showed us everything and we all went to business schools. You probably opened your business because you had a buddy that you worked for, or your uncle or your mom or your dad. And so we don't know those things. But a company like Core Matter comes into your operation and shows you, what recruiting really need to look like, and answers all of these questions, and make sure your onboarding process is so tight. So from day one, a person that comes into your operation feels comfortable and you feel comfortable, so that everybody's working through those, periods of transition and concerns. Because the first 90 days, we're still evaluating each other. You evaluate this new employee and that new employee is evaluating you. These first 90 days with a company that can really, a third-party company that are professionals. That's the one thing that they do so freaking incredible. And let's say you worked with a company like Core Matters. Even if it's not a lifetime relationship, and I hope it will be, but even if it's not that, you know how much you're going to learn just from doing something like that? What's the worst that can happen? You pay tuition to learn how to run your operations so much better. And here it is. In 2 years from now, you're in a different place and you've got your A players. That's really what it's all about. And so I hope that as we're talking about all those things and people that are listening to this and you have those pain points, you don't have to be this incredible natural recruiter. If I open a business and my passion is photography and taking pictures, that's what I'm going to focus on in the business. I'm going to focus on the branding. I'm going to focus on the design, on the website, on those things. And I'm going to hire, those outside services, those incredible outside partners that are going to fill in my gaps. So if Mike is really good at recruiting, okay, maybe that's his strength. So he's going to need help somewhere else in the business. So work with your strengths and recruit or hire a company, partner with a company like Core Matters that will help bring that thing in your business to where it needs to be. So those pain points are going to disappear from your operation. From that point on, it's going to be a smooth sailing and you can move on to the next thing. But if you are struggling with getting technicians, that's the best next move for your company. Guaranteed.
David, thank you so much for that. I appreciate it, everything that you said. I couldn't agree with you more. There are people that have been to the mountaintop, and we talked about that in the last show. There are people that have been there that know how to get there, and they're the shortcut to success. Whether it's me or someone else, right? Whether it's Core Matters or someone that teaches you how to sell or put together your pricing or whatever. So many, I guess you guys are just such a wealth of knowledge and so many great insights and so succinct in how to do things. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you.
For those of you listening right now, I'm not going to ask these guys to tell you how to contact them because they did that in the last show. And if you missed the last show, I want you to go back and I want you to listen to it because you are missing out on so much more good stuff. But they told you exactly how to get a hold of them if you want to know more about them, if you want to connect with them, if you even want some help and support. I think, Michael, you even said, you ask me for something, I'll give it to you. I think you both said that on the last show.
Yeah.
Like if you want something,
SOPs.
We will never charge for it. We will never charge to help anyone.
Rising tide raises all ships, I think is what we talked about. So David, Michael, thank you. I mean, from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for doing a second show and bringing all this amazing value to our listeners. You are amazing, incredible human beings, and I cannot wait to see what you guys do in the next couple of years.
You're too nice.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you. Appreciate you, brother.
Ryan Englin here. Thank you so much for listening to Titans of the Trades. If you're a titan in the construction, manufacturing, or skilled trades industry and would like to be a guest on my show, please visit podcast.corematters.com. If you found value in this interview, would you share this episode on social media? Just do a quick screenshot on your phone and share it with a friend or post it on social. And if you know someone that would be a great guest, tag them on social media to let them know about the show and include the hashtag Titans of the Trades. I love seeing your posts and guest suggestions. We are regularly putting out new episodes and content. To make sure you don't miss any episodes, click the subscribe button. Your thumbs up, ratings, and reviews go a long way to help promote the show and get me one step closer to solving the labor crisis facing the industry. Want to know more about how we're doing that? Go to our website or follow me on LinkedIn. Thanks for listening.